Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed. I am co-founder and chief strategy officer of Orbital. This is my first Legal Tech Summit. I'm really loving it. Great energy in the room. So perhaps unusually for a legal tech event, I'm going to talk entirely about another industry and our mission to transform real estate. Now, real estate underpins the global economy. There is some $400 trillion worth of value in real estate. It's the world's largest store of value, the world's largest asset class, by far larger than equities, debt, and gold combined. It's also, on a personal level, often the most important type of transaction that we'll go through in our own lifetimes as well when we buy a home. But the way that we transact real estate is stuck in the past. It's a horribly slow process. It can take several weeks to several months to close even a comparatively simple real estate transaction, and much longer than that for complex deals. It's expensive. A good rule of thumb is it's about 2 to 5% of the transaction value goes on closing costs. In the UK and in the US, the two jurisdictions in which we operate, we spend about $60 billion a year on fees for closing real estate transactions of all types. And a lot of this time and a lot of this cost goes to waste when transactions are aborted, because real estate is also a uniquely opaque asset class. So to really understand the truth about property, land, about real estate, it lies buried in stacks and stacks of old deeds and chains of title and maps and plans and lease amendments that are not neatly held together, but are dispersed across buyers, sellers, lawyers, brokers, title insurance companies, and so on, and so on, and so on. And the bottleneck in real estate transactions is the legal process to piece this all together. And the end result is an asset class that is horribly illiquid. I can, theoretically speaking, buy $10 million of Apple stock in a second. I can buy a $1 million Ferrari in an afternoon. Not personally, but buying a $100,000 plot of land can take months. This cannot go on. So, Orbital is building the world's first artificial real estate lawyer. And just to borrow a metaphor from real estate, we've actually really only just laid the foundations for this. What we have today is an AI assistant for real estate law specifically. But Zach challenged us yesterday to talk about our 15-year horizons. So our vision is a specialist, expert AI real estate lawyer that law firms and clients can rely on to autonomously carry out complete workflows. That's my 15-year horizon, hopefully a little shorter than that. And if I pause there for just a second, you think about that. If you're a real estate private equity fund or a real estate developer or an asset manager, we're not just talking about reduced costs and efficiencies. Having the access to a 24/7 AI real estate lawyer that can produce analysis and work on demand completely changes the dynamics of how real estate transactions are done. So think about being able to effectively do all the diligence on an acquisition before you even get to an investment committee. This is the sort of change that we are aiming to create. Now, as you can probably tell by my accent, our journey into legal tech began in the UK in 2018, and we started by analyzing satellite images and maps to detect zoning violations, hence Orbital. And we quickly moved and evolved and became AI that was specialist for real estate law. So rather than choose to grow broad across all practice areas and all parts of legal services, we've decided to go narrow and very deep on complex workflows in real estate, both within law firms and the wider real estate ecosystem. So some examples of that will be, and this may resonate with any of you who have had any experience with real estate law, title and survey review and drafting title objection letters, lease portfolio abstractions, and tracking critical dates in a purchase agreement, just to name but a few. Oh, and I should say, can I go back? We're proud to be backed by some of the world's largest real estate companies, asset managers, investors, and title insurance companies like JLL and First American. So, as you'll have gathered, what makes us a bit different is our hyper-focus on real estate law and real estate. So, how does that translate into product? Well, real estate as an asset class and real estate transactions have some very particular characteristics. And just as you wouldn't entrust a valuable real estate deal to an employment lawyer or an IP lawyer or a generalist contracts lawyer, we've seen that real estate lawyers and their clients need and deserve AI that's tailor-made for them, for their asset class, for the world they inhabit. So, for example, first, real estate law is very, very nuanced. It's often very contextual to the sort of asset that you're dealing with, and it's often localized as well. Our 15 real estate legal engineers, all ex-real estate attorneys from paralegal to partner, have got hundreds of years of experience that they've distilled into proprietary knowledge bases that Orbital can use. And what that means in practice is that clients get outputs, the level of analysis and the output that we provide is much more what a client expects out of the box. And then second, real estate uniquely as an asset class cannot be understood solely by reference to words on a page. You cannot really understand real estate just by reading about it. Real estate has to be understood by reference to images, to plans, to maps. It's the built environment. So Orbital, for example, can plot the legal descriptions, the boundaries of a property onto Google Earth, and then cross-reference that with local tax parcel or information to confirm the boundary and ownership. These are the sorts of things that you only have to do in real estate. Also, real estate, lots of it, it's really old, particularly on the east coast of this country. So real estate lawyers are frequently faced with old deeds and maps that are written in quill on parchment paper a century ago that are impossible to read. And traditional OCR and even LLM enhanced OCR doesn't handle this stuff very well. So we've had to develop novel methods of cleaning up those documents to make them legible both by humans and LLMs. And then finally, real estate has very specific, complex, multi-step workflows that Orbital is able to orchestrate and execute. So again, an example of that might be cross-referencing the parties, the contracting parties to a transaction to public records and to historic chains of title, or plotting an easement of a property onto a survey and onto a Google Earth image to send to a client. These are the sorts of things that lawyers have to do and that Orbital is therefore able to do. And finally, real estate is a multiplayer ecosystem, and Orbital is designed for that. So in Orbital, you can collaborate and share information, not just between individuals within a firm, but with external advisors, the client, title insurance companies, and so forth. And this is really important, and it's a big area of focus for us because, as I said, in real estate, knowledge and data is dispersed amongst lots of different parties. So the more people that are on the Orbital system, the more streamlined the transactions are for everyone involved. And this is reflected in our customer base. We work with lots of top law firms like the logos that you can see here, both in the UK and the US, and we launched in the US a year ago, as well as retailers, investors, lenders, asset managers, EV car manufacturers, and many, many more in the wider real estate ecosystem. And for law firms, the reason they choose us is simple. Because we mirror actual real estate workflows with real estate data, with real estate legal knowledge, we save a lot more time. And a lot of their work is commoditized, a lot of it's fixed fee, so that means better profit margins. It means meeting those crazy client deadlines. And it's also more accurate, and mistakes in real estate are really expensive. So to wrap up, our mission is not just about real estate law. It's about bringing much needed liquidity to real estate as an asset class as a whole. And in the future, we think that consumers, lenders, investors, asset managers, they're going to be able to do transactions with far more information up front, far more transparency, and then close transactions in a matter of hours or days. That is the effect. That is what we're really aiming to affect as a business. And so my asks for the audience are pretty straightforward. If you are a law firm, we're still quite new in the US, with customers in 16 states growing very quickly. This is a great time to talk to us and gain a competitive advantage by partnering with us, and we love to find design partners to work on some of our advanced features. And for the other vendors and entrepreneurs in the room, just want to learn from one another. It's the most exciting time it's ever been in legal tech. And if you're an established business in the US, we are looking for channel partners as well that can help us scale. Thank you very much.